Okay, Kirk, roll the intro song.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to I'm so unbelievably unrhythmatic. That's not a word, but I don't have the fat beats. And I went to a school, literally the college that I went to, my undergrad. There was a program that everyone except we called it the Fat Beats program. It was music recording. We were like, oh yeah, that's a Fat Beats maker over there. Yeah. Bonus points for anyone who comments what school you now know I went to, because I've asked. The Fats Beat thing is ubiquitous for my university.
I'm guessing you did well in that class.
I did not. I didn't take that class. I wasn't in that degree program. I was in the film program, but the Fat Beats were the music recording kids.
I see.
Anyway, so we are on week 2 of our film noir of our film noir month. Last week was I don't remember. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And this week is lucky number Slevin. Now, lucky number 7 is 2006. Josh Hartnett, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley, Corey Stoll before he was anyone, and even now everyone's like, who the hell is Corey Stoll? But you should know who Corey Stoll is. Then, I mean, who else? I'm missing people. Stanley Tucci, Josh Hartnett. I mean, it is an all-star cast for that era.
Of course, yeah.
But the movie didn't do particularly well. Did you like it?
I most definitely did. It's now. Well, I don't know if you're gonna make fun of me for saying this, because it's
one of my favorite movies.
First time I've seen it. I was gonna say it's one of my favorite movies now.
Yeah.
But
so to catch people up, now obviously if we're doing film reviews, there's going to be spoilers, like tons and tons of them. So if you haven't watched the movie, which many people have not, I would recommend seeing it first. But lucky number Slevin is, like I said, 2005, 2006. I can't remember. It's one of those two. It's fantastic. It is a neo-noir film. Oh, Lucy Liu. Also Lucy Liu. It is a neo-noir starring a whole bevy of people that, much like all noirs, is about intrigue and double crosses and death and murder and mystery. And you don't even I remember about near the end when it got to kind of the reveal, I said, and now you get to find out the movie you've been watching, because you don't you don't even actually really know the plot of the movie till the very end, and you're like, oh shit, that's the movie I've been watching.
That is true. Yeah, because right when it hit that moment, at first I was like, oh, he must have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is what they were going for.
The entire movie is based on him being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But it's opposite of that. He was in the correct space at the correct time.
In fact, he went through a lot of trouble to make sure that the space was open. Yes. He created the space for him to be. The him in this particular context is Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett plays a young man named Slevin Kalevra, who is absconded by 2 different mafia families on the same day as he is mistaken for a man named Nick, who owes these 2 mafia families an absurd large amounts of money, respectively, and antics ensue. Favorite, hit me with some observations.
Well, first, the blue chairs, the glossy blue chairs at the beginning.
Right.
That's one of the first things I noticed, even before you came in and said to pay attention to small details. I was just like, glossy blue chairs, odd choice.
Well, whoever was I have been in an above average amount. I've traveled for most of my career. I've been in an above average amount of train terminals, bus terminals, airports. I have traveled the world, and I have never seen a room, or even hospitals and things like. Yeah. I have never seen a waiting room so shiny with just pristinely blue. And they even had at the beginning, they had a bum sleeping across them, and I'm like, it was just the thing about that movie is whoever the art director was, and I should know this, I have forgotten it. It's yeah, I know, right? The art direction of this movie is so intentional. Like you said, the opening sequence, they're sitting in this bus terminal, train terminal, and it's not blue chairs. They are crystal glossy, beautiful blue. And it really sets a stage of every surface in this film is wallpapered extremely. There's so many textures and patterns. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Often I'll tell you and what this means, it's just pretty. It's just really pretty.
Yeah, because the walls and the floors of the bus terminal are very crystal white.
Right.
No dirt whatsoever.
And it's interesting because film noir is kind of hallmarked by its darkness, by its grittiness, by its high contrast ratio. There are certain visual things that kind of establish a film noir or a neo-noir. And they are almost always around dark. I mean, noir literally means black. Film black. That's what the word means. And they're always gritty films. There's always a double cross. There's always a kind of a twist. Not necessarily this one has a huge twist, but there's always kind of a reveal, I guess would be. This is a film noir that starts in the most surgically clean, well-lit. Most film noirs people recognize. For those of you who don't know, film noir is any film or commercial or thing they're like, I was a PI on the dark side of town, and she walked into my place with lips bright as candy, saying I had a job for you. Like, those are the noirs, and they're always jazzy and smoky. This is a quintessential noir that opens up in a bus terminal you could perform surgery in. And it's really well lit.
Yes, that is true.
So keep walking me through it.
I was backtracking some. The opening sequence when we saw
Josh Hartnett.
Yes, him, Josh, just kill everyone. I want to say it may have been all of them, but it just reminded me of Edgar Wright films with the quick zoom ins.
Oh, interesting.
And all those. I know Edgar Wright and that kind of style was later on before this film, but
after this film.
That's what I meant. Like later on, afterwards.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, because you're absolutely right. It is. You don't know it's Josh Hartnett. Just to be clear, you don't find out till the end that the shadowy figure is Josh Hartnett.
Because I was also wondering, like, that's probably like the main person in charge, or
right. But you're right. Yeah. It's very much a smash cut. Edgar Wright meets sort of Darren Aronofsky pie, sort of quick cut.
Zoom in, zoom outs.
What's interesting is so you're right. Edgar Wright would come many years later, but Pi and Requiem for a Dream were right at that same era, and Darren Aronofsky was using that style very, very heavily at that time. If you want to see Darren Aronofsky, he has some brilliant films. I won't be watching most of them with you. I hate Pi, which was his breakout film. We're not going to talk about that. But his film that everyone knows him for is Requiem for a Dream, which I'm very glad I've seen once, but you couldn't pay me to watch it again.
Jeez.
You should watch it once, and I will have nothing to do with that. Anyway, but Requiem and Pi both have very similar to what you're talking about, these flash, jump, push, like that same exact style.
Yeah.
And that was the exact same era. I think Requiem was 2003 or 4. It's the same. No, it's interesting. I never thought of that. It definitely does have that kind of kinetic, but only there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't carry through.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like right after that scene, I just, like quickly put out my phone, went to IMDb, looked up Edgar Wright to see when those movies were. And it was.
When do they start?
I believe it was Baby Driver was 2017. Scott Pilgrim was 2013.
Was that his first film?
I don't think so. But...
I don't think so either. Yeah, no. So cool. So keep walking me through it. So that's a really good observation. I hadn't. So yes, it opens up with a very smash cut kinetic editing style, which is dark and stormy and noir, and then it opens up to this bright surgical,
nice pristine,
and we have Bruce Willis in a wheelchair with a dopey looking hat.
Right. Yeah.
Keep walking me through it.
Well. At first, when we were like introduced to his family with Henry, the dad with the
in the flashbacks during the There Was a Time.
Yes.
Okay.
At first I thought that the gang members or gangsters killed off everyone in that family. I was kind of confused after that.
Yeah.
As I probably should be watching the film.
So there's this one thing that I talk about in communications all the time, and I understand this isn't my podcast or communications, but it's an interesting thing that they did here, and that is this. There's a thing in cognitive communications, which is I can tell you what I'm about to do. I can tell you how I am about to do it. And the fact that you know does in no way eliminate my ability to pull it off.
Okay.
Like, it's like a magic trick. If I come to you and say, okay, I am not a sleight of hand magician. But if I came to you and say, okay, Ronan, this is not going to leave this hand.
Okay.
Wow, that was embarrassing. Let's try that again.
Totally biffed it.
I did. But let's pretend that I was a sleight of hand magician.
Okay.
And I would say, like, hey, Ronan, under no circumstances, this will not leave this hand.
Okay.
And if you do it correctly, even though you knew, and I told you, I was like, what I'm actually going to do is drop this, and you're like, it's. Yeah. I'm a terrible sleight of hand magician. My point being that I watch magicians all the time, and I know sleight of hand, and I know magic, and I know how they're doing it, and they can still fool me almost every time. This movie, the first thing they say is this is all a Kansas City shuffle. And he says, what's a Kansas City shuffle? Yep. He goes, when you're looking left and it happens right. In the opening sequence, they tell you the story. Exactly they tell you what's about to happen. They tell you that everything you're about to watch is a lie. And then they do it, and at the end you're like, man, I didn't see it coming. You're like, they couldn't have made it clear. The opening sequence is them telling you, this is a Kansas City shuffle.
Yeah.
While you're looking left, we're going to be moving right, and everything you're about to see is a lie. And you still fall for it, because Noir is rad. I love Noir. I wish that more movies... Like, Noir is just one of those... It's my passion genre. Keep walking me through it.
Let's see. I think you already know the next part I'm going to go to.
Maybe.
Wallpapers.
Again, whoever the art director is on this, I just... Like, they're my friend.
Right?
It's... My favorite is
the trippy one?
The girlfriend's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
When he goes to the girlfriend's apartment, and it's black and white. It's in color, but everything's in black and white. Horizontal and vertical lines. Again, I'm one for big on symbolism and like, I wonder what it all means. I don't know what it means, but it sure was pretty to look at. Everything, there was so much pattern. And even like, he's wearing mixing, there's so much patterns in the film.
Yeah, and then I also noticed with the, like the wallpaper of like the yellow wall with the circles.
Yeah.
The bed frame was also kind of like the yellowish bed frame or wood color.
Okay.
I want to say that kind of goes with it. And it also has yellow sheets too.
Yeah, this is one of those things that like, there are films out there. M. Night Shyamalan is very big on color theory. The idiot who directed I Know Who Killed Me is very big on color theory. I don't know what the color theory was in this, but I will say that it was very intentional.
Yeah.
And beautiful. I don't know if it was more than just they wanted it to be heavy in pattern, but like it was surreal and interesting. They trade off, most film noirs are in black and white. Neo-noirs are of course not, but they did some interesting things to compensate, to give the black and white and the high contrast.
Yes.
Because high contrast is always a big thing too.
Yeah.
Okay, keep walking.
And one of the other parts I found very interesting was their use of transitions. And different kinds of transitions.
What do you mean?
When... Was it Lucy Liu?
Sure.
And...
She was in the movie, so maybe.
Yeah. And...
Josh Hartnett.
Yes.
Slevin Reviewing.
Slevin. I'm really bad at this. But when they were talking in the kitchen, and it just kept going back and forth between the entranceways.
Yeah. No, this again with the director, and this might have been the DP as well. Not so much as we're going to watch a film in a few weeks that I haven't told you the title of yet. That I'm going to harp on this over and over and over. They do a lesser version of it in this, where the camera in this film was a little bit of a character, which is like it wasn't like The Office where you're talking to the camera, but like the character, the point of view. It, like you said, it was very kinetic. It's very there's lots of movement. The camera is very much a participant. Again, The Office would be a bad example of this. Not like that, but the camera was very much a participant in the story here.
Yes, and then like the use of foreground as well.
Love it,
especially when they're playing chess.
Okay,
and like they're going like through the chess pieces. They're weird chess pieces.
They're glass.
Yeah,
they're glass with
I thought they were playing checkers at first.
Yeah, it's
because you can't really tell the difference between them.
Which is. Say what you just said again slowly and think about it.
Can't really like tell the difference between the pieces. My bad. Not the difference between chess and checkers.
No. I knew what you meant. I think everyone knew what you meant. Think about this. We're talking about a movie. Think about how this movie ends up. The game of chess that we see them playing throughout the entire film, you just nailed it. You can't tell the difference between the pieces. Think about that again. It's a metaphor. You can't tell the difference from the pieces. This is two mafia families.
Yeah.
Mafia families might not be the right because you think Sopranos there. It is the black mob, gang groups. It's a black mob led by Morgan Freeman and a Jewish mob led by Sir Ben Kingsley, and then Stanley Tucci are the cops, is the head of the cops, and then you have Good Cat, the assassin, and you have Slevin Cleverer, and at the end, when it all pays off with everybody dying, everybody dies, you find out that there was no difference here. Is that even the cops were bad. Both sides were the same. It was, and it's all kind of hallmarked, and they don't beat you over the head with it, but throughout the entire movie they're playing chess, but you nailed it. All of the pieces look the exact same. It's not this big ornate pawns and kings. They're playing chess where all of the pieces are glass cubes with different things etched on them, but they're very hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. See.
It's a metaphor.
But no, what I was going for is like when the camera was looking up towards Morgan Freeman's character, the boss.
Okay.
Like it was going through the pieces, and you can like barely sketch out his head.
No, I love, as a filmmaker myself and a photographer, there's nothing that gets me more excited. I'm easy to please. I'm sorry. Than foreground. Everybody's like, oh, look, and there's these things in the background. Or look at the depth of field and the beautiful. I love, like, I've seen a few movies where they shoot, like, across the street, and so there's cars passing. Foreground movement is sexy as hell, and I don't know why. It's just so freaking cool. And pardon me. And this movie did a lot of that. Lots of foreground movement.
Yes. Yeah, I very much like the foreground movement, too.
Yeah. Okay, keep walking me through. I'm liking your observation. I saw this movie in the theaters. Several times. I've seen it several times since, but getting to kind of hear your takes through, keep walking me through.
Yeah, kind of like the Edgar Wright thing where you're like, oh,
that's
kind of interesting.
And again, Edgar Wright didn't enter the scene when I saw this, and so it's in a different chapter in my head. So it's interesting to see. I'd be interested to hear if this, like, again, it's also Darren Aronofsky that was this era, but continue.
There's a lot of good parts. Trying to like pick out.
No, that's fine.
Ones.
Just keep calling out things that you noticed that were different. How would you say Kiss Kiss Bang Bang last week was your first noir, your first actual?
Actually, it wasn't.
Okay, what was?
Because I searched up other neo-noirs.
Okay.
And I saw a couple on a list that I've actually seen.
Like what?
John Wick.
Oh.
That was on the list.
Okay. I love John Wick, so this is by no means me being, BS. Definitely not John Wick 3. Screw John Wick 3. With a giant pile of dicks through John Wick 3. But
I mean, I've seen the other two, but
John Wick 1. So for me, and I'm not by any means the Webster of film terms, John Wick 1 is a neo-noir. John Wick 2 film noir is not an action film.
Yeah.
If it's an action, you can have gritty action films. That's a gritty action film. But an noir, you're never going to have an epic battle sequence in a noir film. And so John Wick is just a little too action for me to call it noir. But no, John Wick 1 is far more about the double cross and far more about the intrigue and far more about the depth. By 2 and 3, they were just being a little bit too heavy-handed with the gunfights.
Yeah, especially in the third one.
Fuck the third one. I don't know, just to hell. I love that franchise so much, and it's the first one. The first one was perfect. The second one is like all the characters in the second one watched the first one and liked it.
Yeah.
And in the third one, they're like, let's make it a kung fu movie. Like, fuck the third one. Anyway, I will give you John Wick 1, though. Okay. I will give you... Give me other film noirs that you've liked. Or that you'd seen.
I was going to say, I forgot the others on the list, but I know there was like 2 or 3 that I knew on the list.
Okay. No, I'm a big fan of noir and neo-noir. Mod Squad's one, but that's... I doubt you've seen that. It's Omar Epps, Claire Danes, and Giovanni Ribisi. It's a remake of the old television show.
But no, I actually really like them because I like mystery. Like I told you before, like I don't want to expect what the ending is,
right.
But I want the things that happened in the beginning of the movie to like persuade the ending.
Absolutely, and that is one of the things that I loved it. Like halfway through the film, I was smiling. I was like, when you get done watching this, make sure you watch it again, because what I love the most about it is that as you watch it the second time, it's all there. Like, there's a movie that came out a few years ago that absolutely sucks called Now You See Me. It's Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Isla Fisher. I said Mark Ruffalo already.
Yeah,
it's a magician film.
Yeah.
And it is so good until the last 90 seconds. The movie is amazing until the last 90 seconds. And in the last 90 seconds, they do the big woohoo! And the big twist at the end is not supported by anything that came before it. It was such a tack-on ending. But this one, Lucky Number Slevin, when you watch it the second time, everything from the first frame through the big reveal is supported by it.
Yeah, because after we found out, like, the big reveal, like, all the thoughts, well, not only thoughts, but, like, all the sequences and actions that happened prior in the film, I was just like, I've just hit Nirvana.
Yeah. No, and again, what's so tragic to me about this, and I'd love to find out why. I'm going to go read some Rotten Tomato reviews and find out a little bit more, but I loved this movie when it came out. I love this movie now. I've loved this movie all the way through to the end. It's so well written, and the jokes are well made, and the double crosses are not heavy-handed. It's not like Brian De Palma. Oh, it was all a dream.
Oh yeah,
I hate that guy. I don't know why it didn't do better. This movie should have done better.
I'm not sure either. Actually, I agree with you
because it's an all-star cast. It's an so good.
Yeah. And I will also say I like this one a lot more than Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. The one.
Okay, now you're dead to me. That was fast. I mean, you're allowed to be wrong and all, but I will say that I love them both, so I can't fault you. But like, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so good.
It is good. I might have to watch it again to like really compare them, but
there's no such thing as a film noir that you can understand the first time through. If you finish a film noir and you're like, oh, that was perfect, it was a bad film noir. Because the whole idea is it's supposed to have layers that you can peel back.
Like an onion.
Or a parfait. And you can discover it a little bit each time. Next week we are watching Brick. It's 2007, Rian Johnson. Yeah. Rian Johnson, this was his first film. His second film was called The Brothers Bloom, which was fine. He then went on to do The Abomination, that is Star Wars Episode 8. But his real claim to fame, what really skyrocketed him other than Seven is, Brick, is that he directed all of the good episodes of Breaking Bad. Like, every episode you hear people quote, "I'm the one who knocks," is a Rian Johnson. Like, Rian Johnson is good at this kind of noir, dark. Breaking Bad would be a noir television show, for the record.
I see.
Okay. But we're watching Rian Johnson. It's spelled wrong. It's Rian.
You're gross.
Yeah, I know. What would you know about spelling your name wrong?
A lot of things.
Yeah. But yeah, Rian Johnson. We're watching Brick next week, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as well as he's kind of the star power behind it. It was a tiny, tiny film made for absolutely no money.
Oh wow!
It won the Audience Award at Sundance in 2007. It is these three films, these last weeks, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Lucky Number Slevin, and Brick, are probably my favorite noir genre. Like, I love these films. Yeah. And then week 4, I'm going to have us probably watch Double Indemnity, which is a classic noir. Okay. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't necessarily think that lots of people are going to have watched this film yet, or we're introducing it. I don't want to get into the minutia of every little double cross at the end, but kind of wrap it up for me. Like, I mean, don't worry about spoilers, but we don't need to explain every trigger pull.
So basically, at the end, you find out that I don't know if I've already said it like in this context or not, but instead of being at the right place at the right time, he kills them for payback.
Yeah. So you find out that they were two underling mob bosses 30 years ago, and they killed his family, and this was just like the coldest revenge.
Yes,
because they don't.
Whole revenge
he
story.
doesn't. He doesn't just kill them. He wipes out their entire organizations. Like pretty definitively. And I really liked the line. He was like, "Whatever they're paying you, I'll double it." And he goes, "There is no they.
Yeah.
I am doing this." But yeah, so I mean, you liked the film. I'm not gonna ask you for a star rating, but just kind of give me an overall. What'd you think? Just thoughts as a whole.
Well, I mean, like I said before, I really like the mystery, like not knowing the ending, but all the parts leading up to it, like define what the ending is and really resolve the ending. So I really enjoyed it. I would say probably looking back at it, maybe top 5.
Interesting. Of all films?
I want to say so.
Again, I don't judge you for that at all. You haven't seen many films, so if this wasn't in the top 5, I'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" But
yeah, I was in between top 5 and top 10.
Oh no,
so,
it's
top notch.
It is on my top 3 noirs, and noir is my favorite genre. So like, it's probably a top 10 film for me. It's a top 3 noir. We're watching my top 3 noir, and it's and we're watching in backwards order. So like it's Brick next week is my absolute favorite independent film of all times. And I'm like, and there's some squishiness on the definition of independent, but Brick is my absolute favorite independent film of all times. And that's next week. But seriously, guys, go check out Lucky Number Slevin. It's available on Amazon. We're not paid to say that at all. I'm just saying that in the where can I stream it? Amazon. It's $3 to rent. I think it's $8, $9, $10 to buy. I don't know. It's not. It's totally worth it. Josh Hartnett, so good. Definitely check it out. Lucky Number Slevin. And then next week, if you want to do your homework, so that next week you can just chime right in. Brick, 2007, Ryan Johnson.
And we'll catch you all then. You guys know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, like button, leave a comment. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.